Today's video, we're going to be checking out the Hasbro Avengers Infinity War. This is Titan Hero Power Effects Iron Man. Just how tall is Power Effects Iron Man? Let's figure it out. Let's figure that out together. The answer to that question is about 11.5, maybe closer to 11.75 in height. Like with the Spider-Man that we had a look at, Iron Man comes with this backpack, which will also serve as the place where you can get all of his audio. Simply press the button on the top there, marked very clearly with a Avengers logo, and the sound effects will come out from the speaker section down below. On the back is your battery compartment, which already has batteries included. And then there's the back portion that's going to plug into the back of Iron Man right here. You see these little slots. The slots will line up with the grooves, and groove is in the heart. You'll plug that into the back. Assembly that I didn't show you with the Spider-Man is slightly different, of course, with the Iron Man. They always have these, well, so far they have these little additional pieces. With the Spider-Man, it came with the legs, which apparently the golden arches from McDonald's is my way of describing the legs. But Iron Man here comes with these blasters. The blasters you could put in either direction, but there's only paint on the one side, the silver and the gold. The other side is completely left off. So you may want to have that as your outer area, and that just plugs into place like so. You go ahead and do it with the other one, and plugs in like that. The way that they also plug, like Spider-Man's, allows for some posability, so you can rotate these back and forth. Some really nice, very intricate looking details added to the backpack section, as well as these giant blasters. We'll look at that in a second, but before we do that, we're going to look at a Iron Man that looks a little on the malnourished side. He's a little on the lanky side, and equally so, he's very flat. I guess the compensation was that he's going to have the backpack, so it's going to fill him out a little bit. But he does look a little on the thin side. Kind of looks like an ironing board, which is somewhat ironic that I would say that. It does have some pretty good details. The new face of the Iron Man suit from Infinity Wars, with that little curl at the sides there. Paint is pretty clean, minus a little hair there. Pretty clean, favoring a more lighter blue. There's no white with a blue outline. Instead, the arc reactor, they go right to using blue, as said also with the eyes. The eyes seem a little on the weaker side. The paint's not as vibrant or as much blue as the arc reactor. Lots more silvers and stuff happening here than maybe what we got with other releases of Iron Man. Silver also in the back, but a very nice fluid sort of costume that he's going to have for the Iron Man, for the Avengers Infinity War. Like Spider-Man, he does have the same posability. His head rotates all the way around. Arms hinge outward, as well as these hands are a lot easier to rotate versus that of Spider-Man's. And he also has the split legs. Considerable split, actually. You could Van Damme this Iron Man. You probably wouldn't stand up all that well or stay up very well, but you could do the splits completely on this guy. Legs also rotate forward, but much like Spider-Man, kind of stops on the iron booty right there. Doesn't go any bit further than that. No knee articulation, no elbow posability either. But he's not, again, not a bad looking Iron Man. He does feel light, and a lot of this is probably hollow plastic. The same thing I said for Spider-Man. Hollow feeling legs. Maybe the arms are solid plastic, but everything else feels pretty hollow, which equals a light figure. Necessarily not a bad thing, because a younger kid who's picking this up and carrying it around with him will want a nice light Iron Man. They don't want something, not too heavy. You're never really going to get an Iron Man figure that's overly heavy, but it's good, nice, comforting level of weight to it. So we'll go ahead and add the backpack, which does all the sound effects and everything else to the figure. Without that, you're basically just getting a figure that has decent enough posability, but this obviously is the gimmick right here. So we'll go ahead and attach his backpack, and like with Spider-Man, as soon as you plug it in, it makes the sound effects. So we'll go ahead and plug that in right now, line everything up, snap it into place, and you kind of get yourself a charging up sound effect. You would think that Iron Man here is heavy. He is top heavy, yes, but he seems to stand a little bit better than the Iron Spider, which we can actually just move Iron Man out of the way for a second. And we'll bring in Spider-Man. We'll just plug in his backpack. Like that, like this, like that. There we go. And there's the two Titan Hero Power Effects figures. They're about the same height. Spider-Man should really be a little bit shorter, but they kind of kept the same consistent sizing between the two. Like with Spider-Man, I'm just going to move him to the side for a second. I kind of want to keep him on here for a reasoning that I have yet to disclose. If we flip the figure around, we're going to go ahead and press the button, the Avengers button right there.
Iron Man locked and loaded.
And to no surprise whatsoever, it's obviously not Robert Downey Jr. providing the voice here.
Avengers, assemble! Divert all power to repulsors. Friday, analyze fight patterns. I have a plan. Attack. Stay down. Final warning. I am Iron Man. Iron Man locked and loaded.
The reasoning why I kept the Iron Spider still in view here of the review is I'm sure somebody would ask me, can you swap out the backpacks? And a rather interesting thing happened when I did just that. So we're going to go ahead and take the backpack off Iron Man, like that. And we'll go ahead and take Spider-Man off, or at the very least his backpack. And we're going to switch it. Now, what do you think would happen? This would be an ideal time for me to have like a multiple choice overlay just kind of pop up on the screen. A, this, B. Do you think it would actually use the same sound effects that it was with Spider-Man because the sound effects are inside? Funny enough, when I take the backpack and I plug it into Iron Man,
divert all power to repulsors.
That doesn't sound like Spider-Man now. Now that sounds like Iron Man again. So I think that there's actually a chip inside here that triggers the sound effects here. This is just basically a speaker and the functions to trigger the sound effects. But I think all the chip, basically the commands to send it to the backpack are in the figure itself, which may explain why you're getting yourself Iron Man sound effects and not Spider-Man sound effects. And to take that experiment one further, we're going to go ahead and add this to Spider-Man.
Here comes Spider-Man.
And you can see the same thing happened. So even though they have unique backpacks to one another, it seems no matter what you do by alternating the backpacks between the different characters, you're always going to get the same sound effects for either of the two characters. Or specifically, Iron Man will always have Iron Man audio. Specifically, Spider-Man will always have Spider-Man audio. Like I had mentioned in the Spider-Man review, these figures are more specific to, I think, younger collectors than anything else. Of course, the benefits of having them taller figures, and by having audio, of course, that's going to appeal to younger kids. From a strictly unbiased opinion looking at these figures, I have to think that the figures are actually pretty good. They're large, yes, they have some additional posability. They're not as limited in posability as initially I was thinking. I thought maybe you would only have standard swivel in the arms, standard swivel in the legs, but that's not the case. You actually can hinge both legs and arms outward, so I think that's definitely a plus for this particular line. The benefit as well is having the additional audio in the backpacks, which now we know you can switch out between the different heroes, and it won't matter who you're switching the backpack to, it's still going to keep the same audio as the character it's intended for. Not bad looking figures, which I might also add are relatively inexpensive. I think these Titan Hero figures, for their size and for the audio, I think they're only about $15 to $20, which kind of makes you think why Marvel Legend figures are closer to a $25 to $30 price point for a smaller figure. These are currently now available in retail stores. I happen to find these online and order them for myself, but you can find them in most retail stores that are now stocking the Avengers Infinity War figures. Today we were having a look at the Hasbro Avengers Infinity Wars. This was the Titan Hero Power Effects Iron Man. Not a bad looking figure, really. Stay tuned, guys. More videos will be coming your way, both Avengers Infinity Wars and other stuff. because I like to do other stuff as well. So lots and lots of different videos coming your way, but make sure you hit that little subscribe button down below so you'll never miss a beat when new content comes to this channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.